There was the Silent Hill presentation. There was the Final Fantasy 16 trailer. And there was the Resident Evil stuff. Was this potentially all from a canceled PlayStation showcase? This comes from IGN. Sony PlayStation Showcase 2022 delayed likely to because of the ongoing Microsoft Activision investigation. Don't worry, we're not going to talk about that. This is just a repercussion of that potential report. But basically, there was an industry insider that's apparently decently credible that tweeted out, I think it was earlier this week, around Monday, the ongoing CMA investigation for Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard has indeed delayed any showcase plans for Sony. Millie wrote on Twitter. Exclusive titles and first-party IP were locked in, but Sony believes the showcase will add weight to the Microsoft arguments. Silent Hill and Kojima, Who I Am reveal, were supposed to be a part of the show. The initial announcement of the showcase was scheduled for the 11th of October, with the showcase taking place October 20th. Sony is holding firm on it for now. And, these rumors, these leaks, these industry insiders, you have to take them with a grain of salt. But I just want to point out, this tweet, whatever, came out literally at the start of the week, before any of the stuff we talked about this show happened.
Right.
It came out before all of it. And then right after the tweet, we see Silent Hill 2 Remake, a PlayStation exclusive, get announced. We see Resident Evil, who has very much leaned to the marketing side of PlayStation for pretty much all their games, for that franchise specifically. And we also got a Final Fantasy 16 trailer, a game that is exclusive to PlayStation. We don't know. Again, this is just for fun conversation. But that's a lot of things that potentially line up with there was supposed to be a showcase this week. And even the tweet said we're supposed to have Silent Hill and Kojima show up. Now, Kojima didn't show up this week, but Silent Hill did. And I just find that really crazy. And I'm curious. Let's start with Onix. Do you think there is credence to this? And if there is, how do you react to that?
I think there is credence. I don't know historically when Sony's like fall showcases have been. Like Nintendo with their directs are like almost every September. There's a Nintendo Direct, right?
September. I think they're also around September, but it's never consistent. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I do think there's credence because like these are all games that would have given us a banger of a showcase, right? If all these trailers, like
this would have been a banger showcase,
a fantastic showcase, and obviously these are all missing the Sony first party stuff, right? Because these are all third party games. It is a shame. It is a shame that all of this essentially may have taken off the showcase from the docket of our schedules, but I don't know. It's one of those things where at least we got the trailers. At least we got to see the games, and the more this happens, the more I think companies are going to lean away from like, we don't need showcases. We don't need to be at E3s. Yep. We have our own thing. I can drop this trailer on Twitter today, and it's going to get just as much traction as it were if it wasn't a showcase.
Can I offer a rebuttal though? Because this is a curiosity question too. Something I love that we got these trailers, as you said, but something fun about like the general Nintendo Directs, the Xbox Showcase, the PlayStation. You don't know what's going to be in it.
Indeed, that is true.
You don't know. It's a surprise. So that makes the reaction factor super fun, or just like the speculation. But when you know there's a Silent Hill thing coming up, what are they going to show kind of a thing? That's one thing I will.
That is a very good point. No, that's a fantastic point. The surprise factor, it makes the showcases worth tuning in for. I agree with that. Yeah.
There's Jacob in the chat saying, there's Jacob in the chat saying, if true, why doesn't PlayStation just hold the event? Because it showed the CMA doesn't care for whatever Microsoft says or is arguing about. I don't. So, and just for context, because if you don't understand, if you're whatever, you've been under a rock. The basically what the tweet is getting at is Sony right now is, we talked about this last week in Good Game, where, you know, they don't want Microsoft to, they're trying to pose them as like the bad guy that could be making a lot of things exclusive or having content that isn't available to PlayStation people. And that's why they didn't want to do the showcase this week, because that investigation is still going on. And it's a tactic. It's a tactic, but man, I don't want to talk about the CMA and Activision stuff, but it's just like, I mostly want to focus on just the fact that we could have really had a banger ass showcase this week from PlayStation.
Yeah, we really could have.
And there's also, because we don't know their timeline either. We did get something earlier this week from God of War that was like the recap thing, but I think that's actually going to be in the base game. So I hear from the previews at least. It's just recapping the first game, and potentially we I think also this week Insomniac said like, yeah, we're still on the time to release in 2023 for Spider-Man 2. And that's it. We don't really know. We know Wolverine might be coming out in 2023. That's also kind of another story, but it could be. I don't believe that. But we don't know the timeline. So, Rudy, what's the PlayStation showcase that could have been this week, and are you sad not to have gotten it in that fashion?
So I agree with what Onix said, that like there's always going to be, I think COVID, the pandemic, went ahead and showed that we don't necessarily need E3. We don't need even Summer Game Fest. Like when I say we, I mean the publishers. They will literally just drop things whenever they want, if they wanted to.
Right.
On the other side of the coin, I do think that it is huge to have a zeitgeist, kind of like this almost communal event where all the PlayStation fans, we all get together and we watch this showcase together, all get hyped together. And that's where like the majority of the eyes are going to be there. If there's just a showcase, it doesn't mean that, you know, everybody's going to go see an RE Village or a Silent Hill Transmission. For part of me thought that we were just going to see skateboards, guys. Like I thought that in pachinko machines, if I'm 100% honest with you, like that's what I thought. But you know, I went in low expectations, mind blown. I not to delve too deeply into the CMA thing.
Yeah.
If this is a tactic on PlayStation to make themselves look less powerful while this CMA thing is happening, that's on them, like whatever. Sure. But you know, at the end of the day, we still got the trailers. We still found out about the games that are coming out. I don't know. I prefer to have like big events and stuff like that. If all of this kind of like combined into one thing, would have been banger, dude. It would have been freaking awesome. I would have like lost the rest of my hair. It would have been so freaking good, you know.
It would have came off your face, like it's just right. Silent hell.
Exactly.
Yeah, dude. And that's what I mean, though. It really could have, because the thing that I will say, because I admit I'm like, I primarily am very much into the Xbox side of things, and that's just because of Game Pass, where it's like
it's beautiful.
Because that's the hype part about their showcases. It's like, what are they going to add to Game Pass? Like, I can play it, kind of a thing. But the thing that I bank on PlayStation showcases for is, however they do it, or for whatever reasons, there is some good ass third party shit that shows up in those things. And that's why I'm saying, like, with these, you know, the Final Fantasy 16, I saw Gaming Duo mention, you know, to be fair, it's a timed window, but it's still a window. And we would have, you know, we would have saw FF16. We would have saw Silent Hill. We would have saw potentially Resident Evil. But I mean, they announced the RE4 remake in the last showcase.
Yep.
So it could have been a banger showcase.
The whole time thing, like the same thing they said the same thing with Final Fantasy 7 remake, didn't they? That there was going to be a timed exclusive.
Yeah, I mean, it was time exclusive on PlayStation, and then they put it on PC a year later, like to the day, a year. Yeah. So they are time exclusives, but they're not. That's why they're not saying timed console exclusives. Right? They're focusing on like the fact that they're going to go on PC. So for 1 year, 16 is going to be on a PlayStation 5. The year later, more than likely it'll be on PC only, unless Square comes up with the deal with MS or whoever. I'm not sure how that deal worked. I don't know if like Sony put down the money and went to Square, or vice versa. Square was like, hey, do you guys want to hold the rights? I'm not sure how it works. I'm going to assume it's like the big names like Sony going to the companies and throwing the money down and saying like, hey, I want this for a year. But that's what I'm assuming.
there's somebody that,
for the record, I foresee Final Fantasy 16 coming like multi-plat because there's 13,
God,
15,
so.
like yeah, like I definitely see it happening.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
7 Remake. It's been almost fucking 2 years.
I mean, that's 7 Remake, but I digress.
Yeah. There's Apex Predator in the chat saying, he added me saying, every PlayStation showcase has third-party exclusive game. Them actually stopping their showcase is to prove Microsoft's point, actually makes them even more hypocritical. That's the thing. I mean, again, we don't want to dive too into it, but it's just, I more so just kind of want to focus on just the fact that there may have been a showcase this week. Again, we don't know.
Yeah.
But just that tweet happening before all this was really coincidental. It was really coincidental. So
absolutely,
we don't need like tin hats for this. Like there's definitely some things there for sure.
It was just the timing of it. That's really, or this person just like, you know what? I think this happened. Holy crap! I was right. Yeah.